YouTube, Robert the Monster Among Marks Drap here, and I am back again with another episode of our WWE SmackDown review, joined as always by my good friend and tag team partner, Sierra. How we doing today?
We're doing good.
This is wonderful, wonderful. All right, for those of you who are unaware, please like, comment, and subscribe, and share all those wonderful things down below. Hit the bell for the notifications. We hope to grow this channel even more. I was looking over our view numbers, and we've actually kind of hit an up and down, kind of seeing more people come in. So if you're watching this either on the live or on the replay, please don't hesitate to give us a little bit of love by hitting that wonderful red subscribe button down below. And we're going to go on ahead and get into tonight's show. I kind of feel like it got off to a false start with the replay of the SmackDown Women's Championship match, and then transitioning into Miz TV. That didn't make any sense to me.
It was interesting. Yeah, it was actually really interesting to see them open up the show, not with a recap, because we kind of got the same thing on Raw the night prior. But the fact that it was the Charlotte and Becky, and then jumping into, I mean, it was just odd that they didn't like start off with Charlotte and Becky then, if you were going to open up with their replay or their recap, and then just jump straight into Miz TV with his guest Maurice, his wife,
who he had to quote move heaven and earth to get it have it happen. And actually, before he even brings out Maurice, he announces that it's going to be him and Daniel Bryan at Super Showdown for a #1 contendership match for, and I barely noticed this when I saw it. I had to go back a few seconds and see it again on my rewatch this afternoon, for Sunday, October 6th. That's weird. Because that's
it'd be Saturday in Australia.
Oh, so
no, Australia's ahead. Never mind.
It does either way. It's like you.
I thought it said Saturday.
I mean, in my head, I didn't think that Super Showdown is in only a couple weeks, because it's before Evolution, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it is.
Showdown is October 6th, which is a Saturday.
Yeah, so I guess I misread it.
It's at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so I'm not. For the WWE, either way, it's for the WWE Championship. Miz says he's going to beat Daniel Bryan again and then face AJ Styles or Samoa Joe, because they have their match in Sydney as well. Miz announces that his guest is Maurice, and then asks how hard was it to beat Brie, which she said it was the easiest thing she's ever done. And it's like this whole segment, I am certain with fair amounts that they turned down the crowd volume, because the boos were almost deafening when they let him go. I don't know. I mean, they're doing a good job at being heels, but I'm ready to get by.
Let's see. I mean, yeah, he asked. I'm sorry, I'm going through my notes.
Go for it.
Yeah, Miz asked Maurice how if beating Brie was easy. She's then replied that she didn't have a chance. She said that Brie's heart wasn't in the match, just like Brie's heart is in her marriage. Now that you've conquered Brie, what will you do? And she then says, "This is my last night on SmackDown Live." We get the crowd chanting yes. Miz gets his peeved at the crowd, because he's like, "You better be chanting yes, because you realize all that she's done." But then he says, "You want to boo," because they were booing extremely loudly at, I think, the point that you left off. Saying that Daniel Bryan, come out and I'll give you something. I'll give you something to boo about. Daniel Bryan, come up so I can beat you up. We get Daniel Bryan's music. Daniel Bryan says, "You can talk about me, but if you talk about my wife, you get this." Then we get the beat up. Daniel Bryan hits that drop kick into Miz that hits Maurice into the turnbuckle ring corner. You see Daniel Bryan get visibly upset. He actually while the paramedics are out there, asked if she's okay.
Yep.
She rolls out of the ring and then grabs onto the ring ropes and she starts laughing. It's a setup. And that's when Miz attempts to get the skull crushing finale, only for Daniel Bryan to counter. Maurice then grabs onto Daniel Bryan, I think his hair.
Yeah, that's
and
what it
Miz
looked
goes
like to me.
attack, but ends up hitting Maurice. Daniel Bryan gets the final hit, stands tall.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody kind of saw that we were going to get a number one contendership for it at Super Showdown. It's nice to have it confirmed because you think Daniel Bryan's going to get it, and I think The Miz is going to get it.
I think that, and here's the thing. Here's kind of my reasoning why. I think that as much as we love AJ Styles, he's better chasing than he is. He's a damn great champion. There's no arguing that he's been one of the best champions in recent memory. He just is. But I feel like it's time to step away from him for a little while because we don't want a situation where we have even a remote possibility of what happened with Brock Lesnar, even sort of in a different light with him constantly being on TV and never being able to be toppled. That's just not fun. There's no good narrative in that because there's no adversity for the face to have to overcome, so it doesn't make for good character. Now, likewise, with Samoa Joe needs something. He does. I mean, I think that they've waited long enough and probably passed long enough with I think SummerSlam should have been it because I mean, if you're going to do it at one of the big five, that's one thing because it's kind of one of those things where it sets up for the next story arc, the next lean into for the good long while.
Okay, but getting back to Daniel Bryan.
Getting back to here, it's like if you give Samoa Joe the championship at Super Showdown, and it's Daniel Bryan that wins, it gives him a strong heel to work against, and when he finally does overcome, it'll be that much better.
And you don't think that potentially having The Miz be the number one contender, that's two good heels can do a great match, or having AJ retain and have Miz be the contender? I think we're getting way ahead of ourselves at this point.
This is very true.
I mean, we're getting into Super Showdown, and we're probably talking about, at this point, the Rumble or Survivor Series. The Survivor Series is the next one, the big one. So yep. we're looking ahead, way ahead. We need to get back to the post Hell in a Cell match. Mm-hmm. We can talk more about that because it shows up later. But how about the New Day meeting Croc Files?
Yeah. I love New Day. Don't get me wrong. They're a damn good tag team. They could put together, 5-star classic when they have the right opponent.
You're getting ahead of yourself. I'm just talking about this little vignette that showed New Day in the stereotypical Australian safari Steve Irwin outfit.
Yeah,
not when Biggie opens his mouth. Not yet.
No. I mean the whole thing. Just the whole thing. Just first seeing them in the outfit was like, oh shit, I know where this is going. And then they went there. And
hey, but the Iconics said it was okay.
No. They're not your friends. They're gonna lie to you.
Okay, but let's get to the Daniel Bryan interview before we get into the New Day or Kingston versus Cesaro.
Oh, it was so great.
Pandemonium that started.
Oh yeah.
But basically, Daniel Bryan gets interviewed. He says if the Miz calls me out, I can't remember her name. She's a new interviewer, isn't she?
Something like that.
But she asked, how were you able to be prepared for that? And he said that the Miz called me out, so that means he's up to something. And then he repeats that the Miz is a coward, but to stage this incident, to stoop so low to have your wife pretend to be injured is the lowest of the lows. And he says, not only am I going to punch him in the face, I'm going to punch a ticket to the WWE Championship.
Yep. And I mean,
So both. Go
it
ahead.
would be it was a great intense promo that I really liked.
So I have a question,
Go
just
for it.
because after this, we get another Super Showdown card.
Mm-hmm.
I understand it's not a pay-per-view. It's a WWE event, a glorified house show. But
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of titles and a lot of good matches that are going to be on it. What if we watched it and like did a quick prediction for it? Do that on a Friday.
I mean,
It would just be
current
fun.
yeah, I mean, we could talk about it. I would have no problem. I would have absolutely no problem kind of looking over the card, because if you
And
think, I
we
was gonna
wouldn't even,
say,
I mean, if people wanted for us to review it, I mean, we wouldn't have to. It'd
yeah,
just be a cute little competition between the two of us.
as has always been, friendly competition is never turned down. And in this case, I would say, as it stands, I don't plan on reviewing Super Showdown, mostly because of two reasons. One, as you said, it's going to be a glorified house show. And two, because it is a glorified house show, I don't really. I mean, I know I don't have a lot of good things. I mean, I got the super kick party here, but I don't have much more than that in the scope of this layout. But my other layouts, I mean, I try to do the work for you guys, so that way everybody watching gets something visually appealing. And so to consider trying to do a outline for that for a glorified house show, not interested.
Okay.
But hey, like I said, if it turns around that our fans, our wonderful viewers, want to see us review it, I will have no problem putting in the work, because that's why I do this. I know that's why you do this, is because we're not doing this for us. We could sit here, we could sit on Skype and mark out for as much as we wanted to, but we're doing this for you guys, because we want you to watch this show and enjoy yourself. So, moving back into our show, we get Cesaro versus Kofi Kingston, and the fucking promo by New Day. Like I said, the Iconics are not your friends. They will lie to you to make you look bad. And there was a really good, back and forth by the Bar and the New Day here. I like how they're hyping up for their match at Super Showdown. So, I wrote here, I didn't really write much in the way of notes on this match. I got we come back from commercial with a crazy European uppercut. That thing turned Kofi inside out.
Well, before that, so let's first mention that Cesaro ended up having the advantage the entire commercial break. But before we get that amazing uppercut from Cesaro, we get 3 near falls, 2 from Kofi and the 1 from Cesaro. Sheamus is taking selfies and photos ringside. But then, sorry, I tend to take a lot of notes.
No, go for it.
Totally. But Kofi ends up gaining momentum throughout after the uppercut with that enziguri, which sets up that flurry of offense. Cesaro gets the drop kick off the top rope, which Kofi visibly seems shaken about. I mean, he took a second. He was just like, ow. But then we get the awkward, I don't want to say awkward, the tornado DDT from Kofi. We get that interesting spot where he just bounces on the ropes and then just falls into Cesaro.
It's because Cesaro's been working the leg the whole match. He's been doing, knee bars, and he's been really working on one leg. And that was kind of the whole thing for that one.
Or it could just be Kofi being Kofi. I mean, he implements the trust fall into his matches every once in a while.
I couldn't believe he busted out the SOS for the first time in forever.
That was really cool to see. But Xavier, I don't know what that was, but that was good. But eventually Cesaro hits the neutralizer, pinning Kofi.
Oh yeah, just seemingly out of nowhere. It was really good.
I just saw
though.
what was next in my notes.
Yeah.
So your fears have been confirmed.
Yeah.
I wasn't as worried as I thought I was. When I saw this tonight, I thought this was just the beginning and that they were going to tease us out a couple weeks. But Rusev and Lana are backstage talking, and then English comes up looking like a kicked puppy. He said, Hell in a Cell was rough, but I feel good about your match tonight. Rusev says yes, but you're not in the match. You're not supposed to be ringside. But Aiden tries to recant, saying, I really tried my best last night, or 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
To which Rusev replies, if last night was not your best, then it's not good enough.
Yeah, if
Lana and
if Sunday was your best, it's not good enough. I'm like, okay, here's the thing. You can't do this. You cannot do this because Rusev's not really, currently billed to be the heel.
English has a point with this mega rant he goes on to.
Oh yeah.
That poor Lana, and just Lana is there to hear.
The fucking poor roadie though. Some poor production guy just gets fucking mauled by English towering over him and yelling. It's like, okay.
English never touched the poor guy. He just used him as a vocal outlet. Not like the guy in the production truck that Orton had under hostage situation.
Jesus Christ. It was like...
Thank you for that segue.
Well, we missed the fact on Aiden bitching at the production guy that Lana is still right.
Said that?
Yeah, she's still right there, and she threatens to tell Rusev. We come back from commercial. Fucking Randy Orton has captured a production guy.
Poor kid.
I had a bad thought here, and I'm gonna say it because it was weird-ish. But in my head, I just kept thinking, dear Christ, is this kid a sub? And he's just getting off on this? Because, he just keeps saying, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. And I'm like, that in my head is like, I think I'd be reaching for a phone to call the police.
Yeah, but, Randy Orton's a very threatening-looking man.
Oh, yeah, no, he's very intimidating.
He's got his nails in his shoulder. But the fact that he wants to see the footage of the screwdriver, again, I know it was probably planned out. They most definitely had done this beforehand, and Jeff was like, "Yeah, that doesn't hurt," or "Don't do that."
I'm okay with this. Only go this far.
Yeah, they had one of those moments, but the fact that we had to see it again,
no, I'm
shivers
good.
Down the spine.
And there was
then he says,
"Yeah, go for it."
But then he says, you see this? You see all I've done? Everything I've done to Jeff Hardy will pale in comparison to my next victim. Who is Randy's next victim? Who is getting their house burned down? Who is getting their ears ripped off? Who is this poor, unfortunate soul? Jason Jordan?
No.
He's on SmackDown.
He is, but he's not happy enough, and he's not high enough for Randy. It has to be somebody whose life.
What if Rusev wins the belt somehow, gets another chance at the U.S. Championship, wins it, and Randy goes and feuds with Rusev? Or I would love to see a dual heel feud with Nakamura and Orton.
Yeah, that would be okay.
I just can't think of any other faces. What, Ty?
No. Not currently.
R-Truth.
Fucking Truth. Truth would make it weird. He'd be like I love Weird Truth. Weird Truth is amazing. But like I said, we get the interview with AJ Styles backstage. He acknowledges. I can't believe he didn't even acknowledge he tapped out. He doesn't even.
He acknowledged it because he said the ref's decision
Stands.
stands.
Yeah.
He acknowledged it in that sense. He didn't say it out loud, um, but he did say that after everything Joe had done to him and his family, the worst thing that could have happened was Joe winning. Call it luck or call it karma. I'm gonna get him in Australia, but tonight I need to focus on Almas because, good God, we're gonna talk about this match
Oh yeah,
later,
we're
but
getting
this
there.
match was really good.
Oh yeah. We get a impromptu U.S. title defense by Shinsuke Nakamura against Rusev. I love.
We don't want to talk about Lana trying oh so desperately to tattle on English before this match.
I was gonna get to it after that was actually segueing into what I was gonna say. She runs her and Aiden English run up on Rusev as Nakamura's being his normal self down to the ring, and Rusev's like, I'm not having this. I don't want to hear this right now. I've got to focus on this match. Aiden, would you do the honors? That right there made me think.
But to this point, and even in this match, until the very end, I really thought Aiden was just trying to prove to Rusev that he's still part of Rusev Day, that no matter what Lana said, he'd see how much pride and passion he had in it, because English has a point. Rusev got over because everyone loves Rusev. Aiden got Rusev Day over because of the throat clearing, the humming, just the amazingness that English was able to provide to it.
His showmanship of the brand is why the brand exists. Rusev in and of himself, if you really look at him, he's never going to win the WWE Championship. It's just not going to happen. He's never going to win a Universal Championship. It's just never going to happen. He's a damn solid... I would
never say never.
He's a damn solid mid-card talent. There's no arguing that, and there's no shame in that, really.
Yeah, but he's been relegated to the mid-card not because of the fans, but because WWE's doesn't want to take that chance on him. He's had the champion, the contenderships. He held the U.S. title for a year.
Yep.
He was unbeatable for that year.
Yeah, and here's the thing
then they put him in the frickin' League of Nations or whatever
that got
it was called.
Sacrificed to Roman. For me,
Wade Barrett always gets sacrificed to the big guy.
Oh yeah, and for me, in a sense, this match was like, okay, you've shown this whole thing was you've shown that Aiden English essentially is Rusev Day. He makes it worth watching, because if you reach way back to where this whole thing started, it was because Rusev beat Randy Orton and got the official title from his hometown in Bulgaria, that they were going to have a national holiday called Rusev Day. I don't remember when it is, but I know that it happened that way, and this was still during the feud of it. And Aiden English looked at that and took it and kept running with it, and it got over. So to have him go off in this, off on his own, which, let's get back to the match. This match was a damn good match, right up until the end, when fucking Aiden English gets up onto the apron with his microphone and declares Rusev crush.
That's not your line.
It's like, no.
Put that microphone down.
I mean, he had gotten the microphone up a couple times during the match to, try and encourage the crowd to chant Rusev Day, and it worked. And I'm like, okay, all you have to do is just keep doing this, and even after the thing, he can go, listen, I am so much better than you give me credit for, And you're going to tell me my best isn't good enough, but you wouldn't have won that match if I wasn't in your corner willing the crowd to chant you on. It wouldn't have happened. So now you're U.S. champion, and you got me. And, you know, we can get away from this whole thing and never do it again. But they're 100% fucking committed to it. So after the match, when Rusev loses due to a roll-up, fucking Aiden English goes off on Rusev and beats him down with the microphone.
Okay, so it feels like you're putting down this match just based on outside interference or what was going around ringside. If we look at the match, though...
Oh, yeah, no.
The match was spectacular.
The match in a vacuum was damn good.
I mean, Rusev got to shine in the beginning with the multiple suplexes that led to the near fall. The momentum Rusev caught after Aiden English first picked up the microphone to chant Rusev Day with the impressive flurries. He tries to call for the Machka kick. Nakamura dodges it, and then he still managed to get that heel into the back of his neck for that near fall.
Yeah, he fucking dodged. He dodged Shinsuke Nakamura's second kick. It's like everybody dodges the first one. Nobody dodges the second one, and he did.
And then, I mean, eventually both the competitors find themselves on the apron. Nakamura is able to save himself with the fingers to the face with Rusev. I don't know if they didn't say it was like a thumb to the eyeball, but it was like hands in the face.
Yeah.
And then at that point, we see Nakamura take control. He calls for that Kinshasa, but Rusev ends up getting the Machka kick. And that's when we get Aiden English on the side of the ring doing the Rusev Crush, which distracts Rusev, causing Nakamura to get the roll-up.
Yeah.
And that's then again when we get, as you said, the mauling of Rusev,
with
English saying Happy Rusev Day. Kind of was hoping he was going to add bitch at the end of that because it's amazing.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been terrible. I am sorry.
The issue with this is that did he really just turn on them all because Lana was going to tattle?
Maybe. Here's the thing. I'm calling it now. We're going to see him very shortly. I'd say by maybe end of the year. He's not going to make it to 2020. I don't even think he's going to make it to mid 2019. We're going to see Aiden English future endeavored. Guaranteed.
That's harsh. But let's move on.
What else?
To...
In the vacuum of Aiden English, what else is he good for?
He's a hype man, a manager.
Yeah.
He does have potential in the ring.
He's not
he
terrible.
He is known for tag teaming, so maybe find him a struggling tag team person, maybe like Jason Jordan. At least then they get a little bit of a gimmick run. But let's move on to
next
Styles versus Almas.
Yeah, we get the replay of the WWE Championship match and the multiple angles of the ending. And then Andrade.
The multiple angles of the ending was earlier.
Oh yeah, that's right.
This one was just the basic recap of the match, showing the
Styles flipping over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrade Cien Almas versus AJ Styles almost starts before the match even begins. Like as AJ's doing his entrance, just ambushes him, beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, I mean, he messes AJ up. Immediately, AJ looks like his leg is hurting, which can't say don't blame him. He had a rough match on Sunday,
and he looked very out of it.
But he did manage to tell the ref that yes, I'm good to go. Let's do this. And immediately Almas is right back on him.
Mm-hmm.
But he's able to get right back at Almas. But we hit commercial break, and it's Almas all commercial break. Sorry, I'm just going through my notes because I've got a little bit. A couple of highlights. We see Styles get the DDT in the beginning, only for Almas to hit him with that spinning back elbow, which I'm pretty sure that probably hurt. I mean, they made a good sound, but I don't think that caused any big issue. I think that was just an effective hit.
Yeah,
We
good
see
pop.
Zelina Vega get that cheap shot on AJ Styles, and then we get Almas with the athletic abilities that he has, doing the moon salt from the top rope into a standing moonsault, but then Styles managed to get his feet up. The entire match, I kept thinking, man, Almas has a counter for all of Styles' big moves. He's really watching the tape.
Yep. I love how
Um,
he did a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker and then went back to the well with it and ended up getting caught with a tornado DDT. It was a very, very
but
good, very, very well executed sequence. And one of my favorite parts was, I forget what he did. He did like a bulldog and landed on top of Almas with his legs near his shoulders, and it looked almost like he was about to pin him, and then he just sets him up for the Styles Clash, nails it, and wins. I'm like, that's great.
ooh, you jumped right to the end.
This is my
How
favorite
about
spot.
how about the spot that was immediately after where I had left off, where almost double stomped Styles through the ropes in the apron outside the ring.
That was
Um,
pretty harsh.
Styles got that really nice, phenomenal forearm to the back of Almas's head.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the counter Almas had for the Styles Clash was actually really cool, just frantically running around trying to get to that rope. Um, but yeah, as you said into you said as into the match, Almas went for that hammerlock DDT,
Mm-hmm.
only for Styles to counter with the jackknife cover into the Styles Clash. Styles pins Almas.
Mm-hmm. And then fucking Samoa Joe shows up for a little fight.
Yeah.
And
I
before he
don't
gets
want
run off.
Joe to look, man. Joe is a scary individual. If I had a man like Samoa Joe run up at me out of nowhere, shove me against a wall, and say, "You're not, you know the truth, and you'll never be safe," I'm sleeping with one eye open, moving to Canada. No, I'm moving to Mars. I
Moving to
don't
Mars,
want.
owning a few firearms and a security system.
I don't want anything to do with Samoa Joe if he comes at me in that type of a rage.
That
Um,
I feel like that this would have been a great ending to the show. Like had this been where the cameras go off, I would have been okay.
oh yeah, it would have been good. But we should probably move on to the last match of the show before we get to our main event, which is Becky Lynch's coronation.
Yep.
But it's Billie Kay versus Asuka. We get the
Mm-hmm.
Super Showdown card saying that it's going to be the Iconics versus Naomi and Asuka. This was a really quick match. I literally only have one sentence. Asuka with a quick win. Billie
Yep.
submits to Asuka lock.
Yeah.
There was nothing else to it.
There was nothing.
It's nice that they're building Asuka up as a strong contender, especially because she doesn't have the
The streak
the
anymore.
undefeated streak anymore. Um, that was a big issue, I think, with a lot of people, is that she didn't have a character set up after the streak was over, and I think it was probably a little refreshing for her to be off camera for a while and figure out what she wanted to do next, or
Yeah.
talk with creative. But let's move on to our, I guess, main event, Becky's coronation. We see Paige out there, and she congratulates Becky. Becky looks very happy with her championship. She calls Paige out, I didn't want balloons or a photo or anything like that. I didn't want the entire Divas division surrounding the ring. I just want one person. And so she calls out Charlotte, and
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte answers, but not to fight and not to steal the spotlight. She's here to give her the respect that she didn't get from Becky at SummerSlam, and to tell her that I'm getting my rematch at Super Showdown. Um, I think Becky is playing the heel part well now. I think the heel aspect of her character, she's starting to act like a queen. She does tell Charlotte, I want you to raise my hand. I want you to put the belt around my waist. Oh no, I don't want any of that. I just want you to call me queen. We see Charlotte walk away, and then we get bitch, and that starts our quick little brawl, which Becky annihilates Charlotte, standing
yeah.
tall at the end. What are your thoughts on it? Because I totally took over that.
No problem. To be honest, the whole quick part between Becky and Charlotte, I kind of saw that coming because, I mean, these things go about as well as you'd ever expect. I will always point to CM Punk signing the contract, asking, has one of these ever gone well? Has one of these ever gone without a fight? And you never get a coronation that doesn't end with some kind of conflict. And
No, because the coronations are simply just to help set the women up
yeah,
for their either next feud or continuation of the feud.
Yeah.
Because we're getting the rubber match at Evolution.
Yeah, it's a bit. So I'm okay with that. And with Becky standing tall at the end, and her like you said, her heel character has fully set in. This is the Becky we're going to get for the foreseeable future, and it's a damn good one. I can't argue that I don't want to see more of it, because I do. I absolutely want to see more of Becky Lynch acting exactly like this. This is what I would pay admission for. If I had to.
But with that being
said,
said, we actually have reached the end of our show.
We absolutely have. The tomorrow's show, for those of you who are watching, is going to be NXT/205 Live. We're going to talk about our good Wrestle Boys. Yes?
I have to bring up a concern. So, first of all, for those who did not know, 205 Live has been moved to Wednesdays before NXT.
Okay.
Are we going to go chronologically this week?
I mean, I suppose we can. We did last week.
Thank you.
I know it makes you happy.
I like chronological order. I like things to be organized by timeline. I don't know what it is. It's not OCD.
Oh,
it's just me.
No, it's not. Not OCD. Never is. But it's okay. I would give this show tonight a solid 3 out of 5. It wasn't bad, wasn't great. It was okay, and I still have to watch Raw. We did
actually.
You go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say.
Go ahead and finish your thought, and then I'm gonna rate it.
I was gonna say we got a yet further promo for those of us who did not watch Raw for Crown Jewel, which is November 2nd, Saudi Arabia. They're going to be back in the Prince whatever Dome, the same place they had the greatest Royal Rumble.
No,
it wasn't.
No, they're going to be in Riyadh this time around. The greatest Royal Rumble. I don't think I have it written down, but it was in starts with an M.
Maybe. I don't know. I was pretty sure it was the Prince Riyadh.
No. Riyadh is the actual town.
The Prince whatever in Riyadh Dome.
It's not the same one. I don't think. Pretty sure.
We'll look into it. Just like I'm gonna look into a nice little sock for my microphone. But you had thoughts.
So you rated it a 3.
Mm-hmm.
I would give it 3.8, so a C plus, high C plus, low B minus.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because it started to set up storylines for Super Showdown, and thereafter, I don't know if we'd see Rusev versus Aiden English at Super Showdown.
Maybe on the pre-show.
But we know we're gonna see that eventually.
Oh yeah.
It begins another chapter for Joe and Styles. We see what else? We see Randy Orton's going to be starting a new feud.
Yeah.
It put a little bit of juice in New Day versus the Bar.
Yeah.
And then it reassures us that we're still going to see Charlotte and Becky for a little bit.
Yep.
So I was actually pleasantly pleased. It was better than Raw in my opinion.
Yeah. With Daniel Bryan versus The Miz being a number 1 contenders match, I kind of feel like it may telegraph who's going to win. Because as much as
we should leave that alone for now, because we tend to go on tangents about it.
This is true.
But it's refreshing to know that we still have differing opinions, because you were rooting hard for Daniel Bryan, while I think that he's going to have to go through a losing streak, very Gargano-esque.
Yeah, maybe. I want to thank you all for watching. Again, please like, comment, subscribe, share all those wonderful things down below. Hit the bell for the notifications. Follow us on Twitter. I'm at Rob Random Roms. She's at Heavy Metal Hippie. We're both at In Mosh Pit. If you've got any thoughts on the show, hit us there. And we will see you all tomorrow night for the NXT 205 live review. Later.
Flip it.